Hello everybody and welcome to today's video where we take a look at the exam report for the November 2020 AQA English Language GCSE Paper 1 and see what tips it gives us to do well in this paper in the future. Starting off with question 1, and this always seems to be one students struggle with. It's supposed to be the exam board's easy opener, but perhaps students rush it because they think it's easier than it is, or maybe those nerves at the start of the exam cause students to make mistakes. Either way, there are a couple of key points to learn from November. As you know, this question asks you to list 4 things on a certain topic from a certain part of the source. The first point is to do with close and careful reading. Now, I'm not going to give you the exact example because you might end up sitting this paper for your mock, but imagine the question was list 4 things about Pam, and the text read, Pam looked at the moonlit shopping centre. And the way the text was presented, like it is here on screen, there was a line break after the word moonlit. Well, a number of students, enough to make it into the exam report, wrote, Pam looked at the moonlit. Now what's going on here? Perhaps some students thought this word was moonlight. Some did actually write Pam looked at the moonlight, but again that wouldn't get a mark. Pam didn't look at the moonlight, she looked at the moonlit shopping centre. You can directly quote from the text, but the quote must make sense and answer the question. Pam looked at the moonlit doesn't do that. This isn't a complete sentence, it's an incomplete phrase. It needs the rest of the sentence to make sense. It's possible that some students, because this word moonlit was at the end of the line, didn't read the full sentence which continued on the next line. Another error in question 1 was students selecting information from outside the lines specified in the question. So I think putting these 2 points together, it's clear that it's quite easy to rush this question or not give it due focus and attention and lose some relatively easy marks. Now the exam lasts for 1 hour 45 minutes and there are a maximum of 80 marks available. If we allow 15 minutes to read the source, that gives us just over 1 minute per mark available, so you can afford to spend 5 minutes on question 1, and I think that's plenty of time to carefully choose your 4 points. There's no need to rush and make simple mistakes. In question 2, there was a word of caution about analysing lengthy quotes. Using long and unfocused quotations can lead students to write about content rather than language. The report said that students could be advised to use short, precise quotations. Let's look at a quick made-up example. Imagine you're going to analyse the religious imagery in this quotation. The angelic clouds drifted across the sky whilst Jacob squinted up with his hand to his brow, desperately trying to spot the kite he had let go of only seconds before. Okay, so if you were writing about religious imagery, you don't need to quote the whole sentence. You could just write about how the writer uses religious imagery, describing the clouds as, quote, angelic. In this case, your quotation would be one single word. You're writing about the religious imagery, and in this sentence there's only one single word you're going to analyse in that way. The rest of the sentence has nothing to do with religious imagery, so there's no need to quote it in this part of your answer. It will help you, as the exam report put it, to direct your analysis to the word or phrase that drew your attention and shaped your understanding. For question 4, there was a common mistake we've seen before, confusing characters. Let's say the question is all about Pam being presented as confused in the line stated. Well, many students chose quotations which were describing characters other than Pam. This is a simple mistake, but make sure you're writing about the correct character. It's all down to close reading, and by the time you get to question 4, you should be quite familiar with the text, so it's a mistake that should be fairly easy to avoid. For question 5, there was some useful advice about the picture prompt, a reminder that you don't have to write solely about the details in the picture, but can use it as a starting point to develop your own creative ideas. And finally, in question 5, it was noted that there were examples of uncontrolled sentence and paragraph lengths. Sometimes we can get so carried away with our story or descriptive piece that we forget there are 16 marks available for technical accuracy. Not only should your sentences and paragraphs be grammatically correct, you can also vary your sentence and paragraph length for effect. I'll link a video at the end where we see a great example of just that. So I hope you found this video useful. If you'd like another video to cover paper 2, then please do give this one a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel.